Hey y'all, Austin here with Outer World Media. Welcome back to another video. This one's going to be a little different. I was tagged and challenged in a book tag, the Off the Top of Your Head challenge. I was challenged or tagged, whatever you want to call it, by Faceless Book Review. Sorry, I have my little cheat sheet here because there's 10 things I got to answer and I'm not going to remember them off the top of my head. So I wrote them down as soon as they came to mind. The first one, I believe, was your favorite picture book as a kid. I'm going to be honest. By the time I was in elementary school, like fourth grade, I started going to the middle school to pick up books just because I was reading at a higher rate than everybody else. Not trying to brag or anything. The reason I bring that up is just to say, I didn't really read a whole lot of picture books when I was a kid, but the one book I do remember absolutely loving as a kid that was a picture book was Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss. That is a book I feel like even today, if I were to pick it up, if we go into Barnes and Nobles and they have it on like a display, I'll stop and I'll pick it up and read it. Yes, I know I'm a grown man reading a Dr. Seuss book, but hey, leave me alone. I think anybody can enjoy Dr. Seuss at any point in time in their life. The next was a series I believe that you enjoyed reading as a kid. And this one I feel like goes really under the radar. It was probably not a book series I should have read at such a young age because nothing but terrible things happen in this series. And that is Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. I absolutely loved those books when I was a kid. There was like 13 of them. I finished the whole series. I loved them. I need to go back and reread them. I'm sure I'll probably find a whole lot of plot holes in the series, but I haven't read them since I was in like elementary school, and I absolutely loved reading them. Again, terrible. All that happens in them are terrible things, but again, I enjoyed reading them so much when I was a little kid. The next was a book that, couldn't finish. Worst book I've ever read. I don't want to call it the worst book I've ever read. I don't think any book is really bad. I don't think it's for you. And the one book that came to mind when I thought about this, or that popped in my mind as soon as I saw that, was a book that I tried reading when I was in fifth grade. And I remember it vividly because my fifth grade teacher, I brought the book to school, and my fifth grade teacher, Ms. Griffith, said, no, you have to get a parent's note saying that you can read this. And so this was, before kids had cell phones and whatnot. So it was like lunchtime. I went to the office and said, hey, can I call my parents? I have a question. I have to ask them. Called my parents and said, hey, she won't let me read the book until I get a letter signed. Can you guys come here, bring me a signed letter so I can read this book today? Please, 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 please. My parents reluctantly did. My mom came up to the school and brought me a letter. She wasn't happy about it, but she brought me up a signed letter saying that. And I remember reading, I think I was a chapter, maybe 2 chapters in the book. And I got to a point when I was in fifth grade that I read, and I'm not going to say what it was really. It was essentially a gentleman who did something he should not have done to a child, and kind of started going in detail. I was like, nope, close the book. Never even attempted to read it again. Even now, as a man in my mid-20s, I don't want to read about that. I don't want to hear about that. When I was in fifth grade, I sure as hell did not want to read that, and that just, again, not for me. I know there's people out there that absolutely love that movie, love the book. I did watch the movie once when I was a few years older, and I couldn't get that image out of my mind of reading that in the book, and I couldn't enjoy it. I could not enjoy it. So that is not the worst book I've read. I don't want to use that label. That's just the book I picked up and put down and will never, ever attempt to pick up again. Again, just because I don't think there's such thing as a bad book. I don't want to speak ill of someone's work that they, pour time and energy into it. The next was a book when I was a kid, I believe, that, that you absolutely remember. And this was, for me, I believe I was in fifth grade, and I finished Prisoner of Azkaban, the third Harry Potter book. I love the movie. That's my favorite movie. It's my favorite book. I remember finishing that book, and I was just so happy, because, I'm sorry, slight spoiler alert, Sirius escapes, everything's fine. We hear about time travel in the book. I remember, when I was, a kid trying to do, read that series and read that book. I remember I was at a buddy's house, and another friend was over, and they were trying to get me to stay the night. And I said, no, I gotta go home. I gotta read and finish this book. I'm sorry, I got like 100 pages left. I gotta finish it. I gotta read it. And so my friends were like, dude, you're gonna pick reading a book over hanging out with your buddies and staying up all night? And yeah, I did. I did. I went home and finished that book, and I absolutely loved it. Still to this day, my favorite book and my favorite movie in that series. The next was favorite book turned movie, or vice versa. For me, that's an easy one, and that is The Shining. Even though they are completely different of each other, I love the book so much. That is my favorite Stephen King book, and that's my favorite. That's one of my favorite movies. That's in my top 3 favorite movies of all time. It's up there. Eventually, I will do a favorite, top 5, top 10 rankings. I'm gonna save the trouble now. Die Hard is my favorite movie of all time, and my favorite Christmas movie. But again, I love that. Even though they are polar opposites of each other, I love that movie. I remember when I was a kid, I saw the movie first and I read the book, and I loved it. I absolutely loved that book and that movie. I'm so enthralled with them. I loved them. The next one is a book or book series that you wish would be turned into a TV show or a movie. For me, that's easy. That's Red Rising. For those of you who don't know what Red Rising is, I feel like it's finally getting its due respect here over the last few years. It's a science fiction series. It's a trilogy, and then there's a follow-up series to it. I have not started the follow-up series. I've only read the first trilogy, and I absolutely loved them. I really wish they could turn that into a book series, or sorry, not a book series, a TV show or a movie. I feel like it would blow, and I hate to say it. I know people are going to say, you can't say that. I'm not a Star Wars fan. I'm sorry. I never have been. I missed that time, gap in my life where, it would enthrall me. I really feel like if they did this right, it could. From what I understand with people and how they feel about Star Wars right now, and again, I'm not bashing on Star Wars. I feel like people that like Star Wars and Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, Babylon, AD, all those other shows, I feel like you would absolutely love this show or movie if they were true to the source and kept to it. I feel like everybody would love it. Again, I'm not the biggest science fiction guy, but I absolutely loved that series. I really wish they would turn that into a movie or a TV series. Sorry, I'm trying to read my next handwriting. Sorry, I'm trying to read my handwriting, and I can't. My pen went out on me. I do apologize. The next one is, if you could be friends with a book character, who would it be? For me, that's easy. That's Samwise Gamgee. I mean, come on. The dude followed Frodo to Middle-earth, to Mordor, to throw the ring in the fire. Sorry if that's a spoiler alert, but come on. The books have been out for years at this point, like 50, 60 years. Come on. And the movies have been out for like 20 years. I love Samwise Gamgee. I love Lord of the Rings. I really do. I am obsessed with Lord of the Rings. I mean, I have the movies on DVD. I had them on VHS when I was a kid. I love everything Lord of the Rings. I just do. And Samwise Gamgee, if that's not what a true best friend is and someone you don't want as a friend, I'm sorry. But again, the dude followed Frodo to Mordor to destroy the ring. He fought against Gollum. Come on. Next, where is a place that if you could visit, you would want to? I'm kind of cheating here. I'm going to use Lord of the Rings again, and that is the Shire. I had a tough choice between the Shire and Rivendell. I would have to go with the Shire just to see the Hobbit holes. I would absolutely love to see that. My wife shows me these TikTok videos all the time of people that have made like actual Hobbit holes where you can go stay and vacation. I told her eventually I want to go. I would love to stay in one and read the Hobbit, or the Fellowship of the Ring, or the Two Towers of the Return King. Just sit there and read and feel like I'm in the Shire while I'm reading the book. I would love that. Next, what is a nonfiction book that you would recommend? I just did a review, actually, funny enough, and that is for, the one I would recommend is Tombstone by Mr. Tom Clavin. If you are a Western fan, you like history, come on, you can't go wrong hearing about Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, Virgil, I mean, you know, the Cowboys. Come on, you can't go wrong hearing about the shootout at the OK Corral. I loved that book. Again, I gave it like a 4 out of 5 star rating. If this review or this video goes up before my book review's up, I'm sorry. Still go watch the video. I loved that book. I couldn't put it down. I finished it in like a day, less than a day actually. I loved it. And the last question: if you could meet an author and have lunch with him, who would it be? For me, that's easy, and I'm going to cheat. And I had to be nice about this because a lot of these answers I would give would have to do with this guy. But if I could meet anybody, it would be Louis L'Amour. There's no doubt in my mind. I would love to meet J.R.R. Tolkien. I would love to meet C.S. Lewis. I would love to meet, Stephen King. There's a whole lot of people that I would love to meet. But I think, as much as I've read of Louis L'Amour, he just, as many adventures as he was on, yes, I know C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien were in the war and whatnot. I got to go with Louis L'Amour. I mean, to pick the guy's brain and see how he came up with over 100 plus books, not including short stories, 100 plus books. I mean, again, I would love to sit there for like 2 or 3 hours and just talk to him about his life experiences and just everything that he, went through, and just find out more and more about it, and how he came up with characters, like Chick Beaudry, Rye Tyler. I mean, just find out all these, characters, and how he kind of came up with them, how he came up with all these different ideas. I would absolutely love to, kind of pick his brain, just sit there and talk to him and find out anything and everything that I could. But that is the end of it. And I guess I am supposed to pass this challenge along. So I am going to go with someone, a friend of the channel, one of the first people that I really started interacting with when I brought the channel back. I love his book reviews, and I love his channel, and just hearing everything he talks about. You need to go check out his channel, and that is Mr. Dustin Hilly. I am challenging him to this book tag. Again, I really hope Dustin does this. If not, I understand. He's a busy man. I mean, he's over there reviewing books and movies, and I'm just over here reviewing a book or two every now and then. So again, Dustin, if you accept this challenge, I greatly appreciate it. Pass it along. Can't wait to hear your answers, and see if you do this, who you pick, and pass it along. I really hope that this challenge keeps on going and whatnot. But again, I do appreciate everybody that stopped by to watch this video. Y'all have a good one.